So every day Radharani goes to Nandagam to cook for Krishna because she has benediction from Durvasa Rishi that whoever eats her cooking will never get any disease. And Mother Yasoda always thinks when Radharani comes that she'd be such a nice match for my Lala. Every day she thinks like this, and she just loves, she holds Radharani close to her breast and just loves her like anything. One day she couldn't control herself, and she just grabbed Radharani and hugged her, and then she took turmeric and smeared it all over Radharani's hands. Now those from India, you'll understand. For those who are not from India, this means now she's engaged. When the girl is engaged, then they smear turmeric and oil all over her hands, and that she's marked. So then, Mother Yasoda told Radharani, you know what this means? And Radharani said, no. He said, this means you're married, now you're going to get married to Krishna. He said, marriage? I'm just a little cowherd girl who runs from forest to forest, enjoying my freedom. I don't know if I'm ready for marriage and things like this. And she slipped out of Mother Yasoda's hands and ran back to Barsana. And she was thinking what to do. So before she got to Barsana, there was a kund, and she began to wash all the yellow turmeric out of her hands. And she began to wash and wash and wash, and gradually the whole kund began to turn yellow. And in fact, she was washing her bhav into the kund. And that luscious stuff was flowing to the sides of the kund, bouncing against the steps and returning. And finally, she was just washing and washing, and Lalita Saki said, you're going to turn the whole of Braj yellow if you don't stop. The whole kund was turning yellow, and you can turn the whole Braj yellow if you don't stop this. So and you know, once you get turmeric in your hand, you can't get it out. So she ran to the palace, hiding her hands. But everybody had seen her washing her hands. They knew what it meant. They already told Vrisabhanu and Kirti ahead of time that Radharani is in throat to Krishna. And everyone was very happy. They grabbed Radharani's hand and they looked. Meanwhile, Krishna was wandering through the forest, herding his cows, but he lost one calf. And he was absorbed in trying to find that calf. Then he walked by that kund, and he was so absorbed in finding his calf, he didn't notice anything. And then suddenly he stopped and said, what? He backed up and he looked at the kund. The kund was completely yellow, golden color. And this golden, whatever it was that was filling the kund, was so attractive to him. He couldn't understand what it was. So he went down to the kund, and all the animals and birds and bees came to watch what was going to happen. Everyone was staring, and Krishna was looking at this yellow substance. He couldn't understand what this luscious stuff was. So he finally stepped into the water. As soon as he touched that water filled with Radharani's bhav, electric shock went through his whole body. He said, my goodness, what is this thing? And he kept going one step, kept going down and down and down into the kund, till finally only his peacock feather was visible above the water to mark where he was going. And this all the animals and birds and bees were watching this peacock feather wandering along the bottom of the kund. And then he came out of the kund, and his whole body had turned golden color, just like Srimati Radharani. And he had Radharani's bhav, and he began to cry, oh Krishna, where are you? He's Krishna himself, and he was calling out for Krishna. That where are you? Where are you? He was completely filled with Radharani's bhav of separation. And he began to call, where are you? All the animals were stunned. They became silent, watching this strange occurrence. And he was wandering through the forest. Oh Krishna, oh Prananath, where are you? Where are you? Gradually the effects of the potion wore off. And then Krishna, he came to his senses, and he began to look for his calf again. But this is the first hint of the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the bhav and luster of Srimati Radharani. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. So, meanwhile in the palace, Mother Kirtira, she grabbed Radharani's hand and saw that they were golden, And she was so happy. And everyone was coming to congratulate her, and they thought, now we have to send a gift to indicate our acceptance of the betrothal. So they sent a servant with a silver tray with gold and silver jewelry filled with pearls and diamonds and rubies. When everyone from Nandagan saw this tray coming, they became overwhelmed with happiness. They understood this means that the betrothal is accepted by Brisabhanu and Kirtida. They ran to Nanda Maharaj's palace to congratulate them. Meanwhile, Nanda Maharaj looked at this tray of jewelry and he began to say to Mother Yasoda, now we have to send some gift. But where are we going to get jewels and pearls and like this to send back? We're just simple cowherd people. Meanwhile, the palace filled with guests, and they began to take care of their guests. But Krishna had heard Nanda Maharaj worrying, so he pulled all the pearls out of the jewelry and went away. Meanwhile, Nanda and Yasoda, when they finished taking care of all their guests, they saw that all the pearls were missing from the jewelry. And they thought only one person can do like this. So when Lala came, they sat him down and said, Lala, you won't get any trouble, and we'll give you lots of sweets. You just tell one thing. What happened to the pearls? No, I'm not trying to hide anything, Baba. I took them. I planted them in the field that you plowed today. Are murks, Lala, foolish boy. Pearls don't grow in the ground. They grow in the sea. He said, no, Baba, this is Braj. I know they'll grow. You come see. He took Nanda Baba by the hand and took him down to the field. And all these beautiful pearl plants were there with so many hundreds and hundreds of pearls. They filled up a bullock cart of pearls to send back to Barsana. And when that was received in Barsana, everyone knew this is it. Now Radharani is going to get married with Krishna. Meanwhile, Purnamasi thought she's Yogamaya. She's the one who makes all the pastimes. But this pastime took off by itself. Now what's she going to do? And then she thought for a minute and she decided what to do. Because she's the guru of all the Brishbasis. No one will do anything without permission of Guru. So they came to get her permission, and she said, actually, this is a very bad time astrologically for weddings. Whoever gets married at this time, they will fight, and this wedding will never last. And after all, they're just little children, I must say. We have plenty of time. We should stop this for the now, and in the future we'll see. In this way, she wound down the pastime. And Radha and Krishna never got married, and the Parakiya Bhav is preserved as the jewel of the Gaudiya Vaishnav Siddhant. Srimati Radharani ki jai.